Who's your family?
Black. We all family.
What's up, cousin? Welcome to the Black of the Movies podcast. I'm your host, Ashanti, or your fairy squad mother if you're nasty. And today we're here with. Oh, hold on 1 second. Hi!
Hi, actual cousin.
I know. It's crazy. More sister than cousin, though. Because we kind of grew up in tandem.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate.
Yeah, and we both went through very similar phases.
That's also very accurate.
And we both had 23 at the end of our Gmails for a long time.
Yeah, also accurate and strange, but accurate nonetheless.
Yeah. For those who do not know, this is my cousin Jesyka. She is an RN, a real nigga. So
You already know.
you already know. And I had to invite you to the pod, and you get to see my lovely abode.
I love it. I especially love the School Eagles. My favorite.
You know what? Actually, you can thank Raven Simone for that.
Okay.
I saw a video on Twitter of an episode of the podcast that she does with her wife, and the walls were like a light pink, and then they had giant squiggles in like a dark pink
Oh,
all over the wall. And I saw that, and I took a screenshot, and I'm just like, hey, I want that.
good choice.
Hmm.
I'm glad you stumbled upon that.
Yeah. And similar to grandpa fashion, I just immediately started drawing on the wall. I did not wait.
Yeah, that is grandpa all day.
Because if he wants something done, he was going to do it immediately.
Yeah,
He was
Yeah.
not going to wait.
absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about the movie Fast Color from 2018. It is directed by Julia Hart, and it is a film about a woman named Ruth who has special abilities and tends to have these seizures that cause tectonic plate shifts. And as people are closing in and the seizures happen more often, someone who is after her, who's a part of the government, is catching up to her, and she decides to retreat to the only safe place that she knows, which is her family's house with her mother and the child that she abandoned 9 years ago.
Yes.
Because
to put it bluntly,
it was straight up abandonment.
it was. It was.
That's what it
Oh
was.
God.
Yeah. Now, this movie has been described by the director as a superhero movie. Do you agree with that? Because of the abilities?
I think that might be a little bit of a stretch.
Mm.
But who am I to tell the director, the writer, and all the people involved with the movie what the movie is?
Mm.
But I feel like they have superhuman abilities. But I wouldn't call them superheroes because
Right.
that's not anything that the film explored.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it left a lot of room for this to be an origin story if they wanted to. But
exactly.
I don't think I would call this a superhero movie unless something else came out after that we didn't see yet.
Right. Yeah, I think it's definitely superhero-ish because of the abilities. But I think this is more of a human story.
Yeah.
You know, of a generational curse between 3 generations of Black women.
Can I ask you, because I also heard that theme from another reviewer about the generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that their abilities are a curse, or the shame and guilt and the everything that surrounds them needing to hide and be reclusive because of their abilities is more so the curse?
I think it's the latter. And the reason why I think it's the latter is because even in the book that the mom was reading, that Bo was reading, you see other generations of women that came before her that are actively being oppressed while also being haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of kicked into their survival skills and overcrowded their daughters in the future and kind of became helicopter moms in
Mm,
order to keep them safe.
yeah. I could definitely see that as well. And I think that is a natural inclination that we have. And, as Black people, we can use this theme of superpowers or, superhuman capabilities and swap it out with a bunch of different things because
Mhm.
I feel like as Black women, we are often made to, for lack of a better word, kind of make ourselves smaller, fit
Right.
in XYZ box.
Mhm.
And our parents do the best that they can with the information they have at the moment to make sure that we're going to survive
Right.
whatever phase of life that we're in, whatever the time period that we're living through looks like. And so it gradually changes over time, but the overarching sentiment is the same.
Mhm.
So that's really what I got from the superhuman ability. I think that could be kind of swapped out with a lot of different things for Black people and other um, people of color in
Mhm.
particular. Is like we have these great things that we can share with the world, that we have the ability to share with the world, but a lot of times at the moment the world isn't ready for it. They don't understand it. They're trying to suppress it. They
Right.
want to study it. They want to take it apart. They want to plunder,
Mhm.
torture, whatever else they can to figure out what it is, because that's the only way that they know how to discover what it is that's different
Right.
about you or about me. And so I kind of took that as that. And I thought that was really interesting. This movie, as I was watching it, I didn't know what to expect because
Mhm.
I wasn't familiar with the movie. I just watched it this week, and I was like, oh, this is a lot deeper than what I was anticipating. Like, because I kind of
Mm.
watched a little bit of a trailer, not too much. And I was like, oh, a superhero movie. Like, I'm into superhero movies.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not a superhero movie. This is a very deep think piece
Right.
on whatever you needed to fit into at the time.
Mhm.
So, what made you choose this movie to talk to me about? Because you gave me homework. This isn't a movie that
I
I've been
know.
watching for years, and I'm like, oh yeah, we could talk about that. You
I
gave me homework,
know.
okay? What was the homework for? What was the reason?
I know. I think I think the reason why I assigned this film to you is because of our relationship and the multifaceted layers, and especially our focus on mental health and sharing those experiences with each
mm,
other.
mm-hmm,
Because Ruth definitely goes through the bouts of depression and guilt and shame and wanting to not have to take on that passed on shame, because it's basically inherited,
mm-hmm,
to take on this shame and this feeling of this need to hide your abilities and hide who you are and not go out into the world. And I think that because we are GAD people, because we've got the GAD, I think we can relate to that very often. And I know, like, especially when it concerns being Black as well, because you're biracial, and I have heard like the stories, because I was way too young or not even born, the stories of like your mom and your dad figuring out how to approach this life now,
mm-hmm,
where you and Denzel are in the middle.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, what do you claim? What are you? Is what people would ask.
Yes, I'm
And
not
I
sure.
think it was a very
Some
poignant
type of
story.
alien.
Yeah. I think it was a very poignant story. And I feel like you would have enjoyed this because it was that deep.
Yeah,
And it's an independent film. I mean, it was barely distributed across 25 theaters.
yeah, I saw
And
that.
there was like nothing, no ads,
There
no
was no
nothing.
marketing for it other than word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why I thought it was important to talk about, because it's crazy the things that they're doing. I like the number one quote that comes from there, which is, "If something is broken, it stays broken," and that can be transferred from just talking about their abilities to be able to take apart things and put them back together. And also, it could tie into familiar relationships
Mm-hmm.
or your relationship with yourself
Mm.
as well. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about because more people need to see this film.
Yeah, I
It's
think
really
so.
great. It's really, really great to see three generations of Black women literally have these superhero abilities and then be able to choose their own story.
Yeah. And just to be the main characters in a
Yes.
movie.
In a science fiction movie. That never
We love
happens.
STEM.
We do. We love women in STEM. So let's get into some of your favorite scenes.
Hmm.
I've got two.
Okay.
Well, I have too many.
Too many.
I had too many. I had to choose very carefully
Mm.
because I really, really love this movie and it's beautifully shot.
Oh
And
yeah.
being able to see all the colors.
Yeah. The cinematography is excellent, and the contrast between this post apocalyptic world that you're kind of just getting a slice of life of, like,
Mm-hmm.
their day to day. It's not a, what is another name of a post apocalyptic themed movie? It's not Mad Max by anything.
Right.
Like, but then you get the contrast of these beautiful colors that are a theme, an overarching theme, um, in the movie. And it's the cinematography, like how they did everything, the color grading, the shot choices, like the angles, everything. It was great. It was great.
It was really great. All right. I have, oh man. Oh man. Okay, so here's my first favorite scene. Um it's the scene where Ruth gets to that very rundown bar and she asks to be able to work there at least for the night
Right.
to make a little bit of money. And after she's done cleaning off the glasses, she goes to the jukebox and plays a song. And for the first time, we get to see her unguarded.
Yeah.
For the first time, we get to see her unguarded. The music is playing. And I wrote that there's a beauty of Ruth being able to lose herself in that moment after literally running for her life
Yeah.
for who knows how long,
Right. Yeah, because we're kind of just dropped into her story.
right? Like mid runaway.
Yeah.
Her wrists are still tied. It's crazy. And you get to see her have that moment where she's really rocking out to a really great song that I will listen to forever now. It's really, really good. What's one of your favorite scenes? I would love to know.
That one was a great one because, just to touch on what you were saying
Hmm.
for a second, is like it gave me chills when you were talking about it, because how how often do we get that moment unless you created a safe space for yourself? Like,
Right,
how often do we get those types of moments? And that's why it's so important to create a sanctuary for yourself, so that you have a place to just drop your guard, like,
right,
to just be at peace for a second, like, and just, yeah. So that gave me the chills when you were talking about that, because I was just like, oh man, it's so nice to just be like, I can
right.
just be me right now.
And you don't get to see her do that again until she gets to her home.
Yeah, and even that, it's like you have to wait till some of the layers are pulled off, because even though she is at home with her mom and her child, she's getting to know her child, and
Hmm.
still has a lot of guilt and shame and stuff that's associated. And so
Right,
it's like it takes time for, I guess that goes into the scene that I like. There is a scene where you really get to see her finally confront the trauma that she's experienced. And it's one particular event that you could tell that she has PTSD from, because she gets the flashbacks, she suppresses them, she has these very physical manifestations of how this event has impacted her. Um, and it has to do with, uh, I don't know if we're giving spoilers or not, but like,
Oh, this is the fourth, however many episode. So if you don't know by now, this is not a spoiler-free zone, baby. If you want to not be able to know about the movie, you should probably go watch it and then come back. So, just saying.
it's like I'm trying to be cautious of like not giving too much away so that you'll still go watch it. But
No, you're good. You're
okay,
good.
okay. Well, there's this, Ruth has this experience with her. At first, it looked like a much older infant than it was, but it was infant child,
Mm-hmm.
where she has a seizure. The pipes burst in her
Mm-hmm.
home, and her infant falls off of, because of the earthquakes coming from the seizures that Ruth has. Her infant
Mm-hmm.
falls into the water that the pipe burst has caused. And so Ruth is understandably very troubled by this occurrence that has happened.
Right.
Fortunately, it was a good outcome. We've talked about the daughter. After that, Ruth was able to find her and pull her out of the water. The baby cries. Everything's fine. Um, but Ruth is still very much haunted by that
Right.
experience, and understandably so. I would be as well. And so there is this moment where she finally does not suppress that anymore, because we, throughout the movie, we see kind of pops of what happened. We hear water, we see the pipe, we
Mm-hmm.
see her on the bed at some points, but we don't know that there's a baby involved. We don't know really what's happened. um and so that really traumatized her. But I really like the scene where she finally sees the whole thing. We kind of get let into what happened, what's been really haunting her, and after she's able to kind of have this EMDR experience where she's able to sit through the experience from start to finish,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm assuming, like a fly on the wall, and just watch it happen and pull herself out of it, that it's not happening right now.
Right.
From that point on in the movie, she is like a changed woman. Like, you start to see all of these layers kind of fall off of her, and she's able to be connected with her abilities. She's able to be connected with her family. She's able to be, a more healed and complete version of herself, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just continually trying to suppress that super painful thing. So
Right.
I really like that scene, because it's so true for all of us. It's like, you don't want to face this scary thing, and a lot of times we need somebody to help us through that, by way of, cognitive behavioral therapy or EMDR or something like that, to be
Right.
like, you're safe right here. Like, you can feel me right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in that situation right now, but I need you to be able to go through it and realize that that's in the past now.
Right.
And now we can move forward into the future, and, do whatever is next in your life. And I really like that, because that can go for anything for all of us, because we wouldn't have seen all of the things that she was able to do after that. And this is just a short snippet of time that we're observing in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
but we wouldn't have been able to see a lot of those changes and a lot of the things she's able to accomplish and her family's able to accomplish, if she wasn't able to like face those things kind of head on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a really powerful scene. And I think, like, from an audience standpoint, we are finally get to see all of her. Whereas before, we only knew one side of her,
Hmm.
which was just survival.
Yeah, yeah. And you knew some of the why,
Mm-hmm.
but not all of it. And I think you also, another thing was like, you don't realize what suppressing things or not knowing how to deal with certain things can do to others.
Right.
because we see like an overarching thing of her not learning enough about herself and her abilities, or her not being able to uncover it, or whatever the block is, that she's not able to control this very special thing about herself, to where it starts to hurt her. She starts to have the seizures.
Mm-hmm.
She becomes an alcoholic. That's hurting her also. It's hurting her family. But then there's these massive earthquakes as a result.
Yeah.
That's now hurting the general population in her area.
Right.
So this movie was way deeper than, than just a regular superhero movie. Superhero movies all have their themes, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all the things that
There are some good ones and some bad
psychiatrists and
ones.
psychologists can have a field day with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My two favorite well, one of my groups, my sets of YouTube dads is cinema therapy. And
Mm,
one of them is a filmmaker and another one is a therapist. And they talk about the films very similarly to how we're talking about this one right now. And they're freaking great.
I gotta check it out. That
You gotta
sounds
check it
like it's
out.
right up my alley.
They do all kinds of movies. Studio Ghibli, Marvel, some DC stuff, psychoanalysis of a hero kinds of
Mm,
stuff. Really, really good things. And I think it's easier to connect with this film for me because of the themes
mm.
and like the projection of trauma onto incoming generations. And it's just a little too relatable.
Yeah, but Ruth and her mom decide to stop it
Hmm.
where it is.
They actively break the cycle. And I feel like that's for themselves, but mostly for the daughter, Layla.
Yeah,
Mostly
yeah,
for her. Because you can see Layla doesn't understand. She hasn't experienced what they've experienced. She wants to break out.
yeah. She wants to be free and fix up her truck and be on the road and see the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, girl, if only
Right.
you knew.
If only you knew. Whereas like Layla asks, like, are we superheroes? And Ruth says, we're not superheroes, we're just people trying to get by. And I think that's such a good line.
It is.
I need that on a sticker.
Yeah, I need that on a shirt.
Honestly. Let's see. Ooh, let me choose carefully for this last one.
Oh, what's my other one? Let me prepare myself.
But before I choose it, I will just say,
Oh,
Saniyya Sidney that plays
the
Layla,
little one, yeah.
so good, such a gorgeous little baby.
Yeah.
She's so freaking cute, and she did such a great job. She was only 10 while they were filming this. That's crazy.
I what was I doing? I was 10. Not that. Not that.
Probably, I don't know what I was doing while I was 10, watching Pokemon, more than
Yeah.
likely.
Probably yeah, Pokemon.
Yeah. Shout outs to Pokemon. Okay. So my second favorite scene is when Ruth finally gets to the point where she's having the seizure in the middle of nowhere after she's decided that she wants to run in order to keep her family safe from these people that have tracked her down. And the seizure starts, tectonic plates shifting, earth shaking, and then she stops it by thinking about Layla, her daughter. And then right after she stops it, she starts to see this massive concoction of colors in the sky because her abilities have finally come back. Her true abilities have finally come back. And just the way that these colors look,
Yeah.
dog, I hadn't even smoked while watching this film.
Oh Lord.
And it was crazy. Crazy to watch. And she's running, and the colors are just shifting and moving and swirling all throughout the sky. And it's so freaking beautiful. And you can see just the sheer freedom and happiness on her face because she's like, holy snaps, I can finally see it. Because there was
Yeah.
even a point earlier in the film where she asked Layla,
What do they look
what
like?
do the colors look
I've
like?
never seen them before.
That's crazy.
That's cheating because that was the scene that I was gonna refer to.
Oh, snap.
Um, because it's just something so powerful and her finally being able to break through all that stuff, figure it
Mm-hmm.
out, get back to, who she's desired to be for so long. And then you just see like this sense of accomplishment and freedom and joy, like so many different emotions you see in that scene with her finally being able to see these colors that she's wanted to see for so long, but she's been so weighed down by everything else that she wasn't free to see that. And she's just running and then she's driving, and I just kept thinking like I would be so distracted that I would wreck my vehicle.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's like you think about the northern lights and all this so pretty and like um that on like a million, you think you're tripping acid or something. Like
Yeah,
it's incredible.
it really is incredible. And, since we had the same favorite one, I'll pull another one in where Bo, Layla, and Ruth are all sitting at the table and they're having breakfast, and this is like their first time having breakfast together. And Bo tells Layla, "Show your mom what you can do." And the bowl, she takes apart the bowl, and it's like a bajillion tiny fragments swirling and moving around in the sky, kind of similar to like a giant group of birds. The way they
Mm-hmm.
swirl and move around
Yeah.
and make all these different shapes. And then she makes the bowl come back together and it lands on the table perfectly. And the reason why I love that scene is because you can see the bowl start to shake in the beginning of it. And you can see Layla's like, I'm going to give up
Mm.
because it's too hard. And she looks at Bo like, dog, you made me do this. Similar to how like my mom would be like, sing that one song from that anime that you like to watch. And I'm just like, Mom, please. And that's how she looks at Bo. And then Bo gives her like, you can do this. Don't
Yeah.
give up. And I think that one of the best things any filmmaker can make a big point on is the human face.
Mm.
That's your story. And to be able to see those reactions between each other
Yeah.
without dialogue,
Yeah.
it's also very black in general
Yeah.
because we'll give each other looks. Even
A
if you see
whole
a
story.
random black
A
person
whole
wherever
story.
you are and you don't know them, you guys give each other a look, you already know what's going down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You already know what's going down. So it was nice to see that moment between them without dialogue, but there's so much communication within like 5 seconds.
Yeah. And I think it also that scene, that's also the scene where we're reminded that of their belief that things that are broken
Stay broken.
stay broken. And
Hmm.
they can't be fixed. They can't be put back together. But it's interesting the contrast between Layla and the grandmother also being able to take things apart and put them back together.
Hmm.
So in my thought is like you're breaking that at a molecular level and then you're putting it back together.
Right.
So you're proving this theory that you have wrong
Hmm.
every time that you use your ability. But it just goes to show the power of like the human mind,
Hmm.
because it's like what you think, what you believe, that's what's going to be so for you.
Right.
So if they think that, my life is broken or I'm too broken to be loved or to have my powers or whatever the case may be, and you can add
Hmm.
that to any theme across the board, that's what's true for you.
Right.
And so we see another scene where Layla, the glass was broken,
Hmm.
a glass window was broken, and Ruth is encouraging Layla to try to put the glass back in the window frame. And but Layla's belief, much like Ruth's, before this point, was that if it's broken, it's gonna stay broken.
Hmm.
So I fully believe that she could have done it. She could have put we see this imagery of her almost putting all the glass
Right.
back the way
All
it's
the
supposed to
pieces are
be.
fitting together.
Everything is going great. It looks amazing. And then she doesn't have enough belief to pull it all the way off.
It's the self-doubt.
So such a great just go watch the movie.
Just
Just
go
go
watch
watch it.
the just go watch the movie.
Just go watch it.
And there are a lot of
So good.
powerful scenes. I don't know if the director at the time was watching this because the director is a white woman.
Right.
And I don't know if at the time she knew just how powerful these scenes were, but like Layla disintegrating her
Handcuffs.
cuffs,
Yeah.
and then Bo disintegrating all of these guns that these white men are pointing at her, white government officials, and disintegrating them in real time. Super powerful, very poignant to the oppression that we as Black people have experienced.
Yeah.
And to be able to see that, I know the first time I watched it, I cried because I was just like, what the heck is going on? Because I think I watched it in 2020 while the George Floyd protests were happening.
Yeah.
So it was crazy to see that in that time while all this is going on and quarantine and lockdown. And it's just like, oh, Julia, I don't know if you know.
I'd be interested to know who was a part of the writing process. I was gonna say writer's room, but for indie film, like you never know if it's one story, like somebody's story that they adapted
Well,
into
I can
something.
tell you actually
Yeah,
if you want
tell
to
me. I'd
know.
love to know.
Okay, so Julia Hart is the director, but her and her husband, Jordan Horowitz, co-wrote this.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, I don't know where they're pulling such stuff from, but I'm glad they did.
Mhm. She started writing it after she became a mom for the first time. And at first she was envisioning herself cuz I mean that's what you do
Yeah,
when you're writing
yeah.
or creating things. You're going to envision yourself first. And but she changed it when she watched Gina Prince Bythewood's um, Beyond the Lights that
Mm.
Gugu Mbatha-raw was in, and she was playing the main character in that one. And she saw that she's like, I'm writing the story around this woman now.
Oh, hmm.
Yeah,
That she. Oh my goodness, she's the phenomenal actress.
she is.
Insanely, just how she connected with like this, all of the emotions and the weariness
Mm-hmm.
and the it's just go watch
Yeah. And Gugu Mbatha-raw is a staple in this household
it. Okay.
because like I watched her in Belle, the first like debut film from a director, Ama Asante. I watched her in Cloverfield Paradox on Netflix. I watched her in Irreplaceable You. She's been playing a really good I guess you could say antagonist character in Loki.
Ah.
So she's freaking great. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
All right, I have just one question for you.
What's your question?
And there's a little, just a little bit of trivia.
Oh no.
Just one question for you.
Okay. I think I can handle one.
And this one, don't worry, it's none of the behind the scenes stuff.
Okay. Great.
This is in movie
Oh,
question.
wonderful.
In
See if I
movie
was paying
question.
attention.
Okay. What black British punk is referenced in the movie with the line "looking for young punks who want to stick it together"?
Oh, I could see the. I'm not gonna get it, but I can see the. Yeah. Tell us. Tell us. Tell us, Shanti. We would love to know.
It's polystyrene, who is also another biracial black person. She's British. She was in a punk band, and she literally, as it says in the movie, she decided that she wanted to make a punk band after going to a concert, and she just put up little flyers that said "looking for punks who want to stick it together."
I was like, I'm never gonna be able to put to pull that name out. But yeah, I can remember them talking about it, and it's even written inside of the truck, right?
Yeah, yeah, she wrote it on the truck. Such a good vibe. We
So
need
good.
more black punks.
Yeah. I just it's nice to see that there are Black and other people of color like in every like spanning everything that you could think of. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're like, I'm into this and I don't think anybody else, there's somebody else. There's
There's
somebody
somebody else.
else.
And the power of social media has proven that
Yeah.
time and time again.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have that small little tidbit of an
Yeah.
accent to it.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants like a full punk Black character, you should watch Wendell and Wild on Netflix. Because Politicians in My Eyes by Death plays, which is they're the godfathers of punk. And they're an all Black band.
Oh, I love that.
So it's pretty sick.
I'll have to check it out.
So I have one final question for you.
Your last question wasn't. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. That was a trick. You tricked me.
Honestly, yeah.
The disrespect. The disrespect.
I have one final question for you, and this is more personal for you.
Okay.
If there was a movie about your life,
Mm-hmm.
who would be on the soundtrack?
I think it would just be silence. The whole movie would just be silent. A silent film.
Not a silent film.
No score, no dialogue.
All right, Charlie Chaplin, pack it up.
Just silence the whole time. That would be awful.
Mm-mm.
You need some sound for at least comedic relief in this story. All right. I think that that's a hard question because there's so many great artists, but like which one or ones do I feel like? So I think my first thoughts are somewhere between, and I don't know if you can even draw a line from one of these to the other, but
Mm-hmm.
somewhere between Black Panther and Euphoria, which is
Both
like I
have really
said,
good
I don't
music.
think you can draw a line between those two things, but yeah, I think like Kendrick
Mm-hmm.
collabing with like Labyrinth and Zendaya would probably suit my life just fine.
Yo, honestly, I can see it. I can see it. They need to make that collab happen.
That would be that would be chef's
Chef's
kiss.
kiss. Honestly, I think my answer always fluctuates so often. But I think it would be like right now, recently, like Rina Sawayama. Hold the Girl.
Hmm.
Such good music. And some of it's like very techno and 80s, but then also very much country influenced. So definitely it would be a lot of Rina Sawayama, and then my most recent favorite person right now is My Favorite Color, who is a rapper. And he has a song called Pink Lack, and I feel like that just play that with a side shot of me at my desk, playing on my Switch,
Playing a cozy game.
playing a cozy game, and that would be like a good chunk of the film.
Okay. So it's a slice of life film.
It's a slice of life.
Okay.
All those filler episodes from Naruto, just put them all together. That's my life.
Okay, interesting.
Eating ramen and playing games.
That actually sounds like a really good life.
It does. Now we got to find a way to get paid for it.
Here we are.
Sick of this capitalism. We live in a fascist police state. Free Palestine. I hate everything.
If you would like to contribute to our GoFundMe is
No, honestly,
our Patreon, our Zelle, our
no,
Venmo,
honestly, call
our
your
Cash App,
representatives.
and give me some money.
Yes, both. But seriously, call your representatives. But thank you.
They're not gonna answer, but
They won't answer. Mine never does. But call your representatives. But in the meantime, I'm so glad you came.
I'm
I
happy
miss
to
you.
be here.
I miss living close to you. And I'm glad that you came and got to see the apartment and see our producer, Not DSG. Shout out to him.
Not DSG on Pokemon Go. You want to share some gifts?
If you want to share some gifts. Well, we're going to have you back again.
Yeah. Hopefully this next time not with homework.
Yeah. Well, No, you're still gonna have homework.
I tried.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment if you've seen this movie or if you're gonna go see it. Or honestly, if you go see it and you have feelings about it, drop them in the comments below. Bye.
I thought I told you we